This Yale Mini 5 2-in-1 Lishi-Style pick came out probably a couple of months ago from ALS Lock Tools, and Gav has extensively covered the use of this tool on his channel. So there's probably really not much I can add to the way of what it can do and what it can open. But my experience so far has been mainly positive. So this picking arm is quite robust, but for this to be able to fit the small Mini Yale 5 keyways, the actual picking tip is quite thin. It's like a foil, you can see there. It's very thin. What this means is that when you're using this, if you're heavy-handed with it, you are going to bend this very quickly and actually destroy the tool. So out of all of the 2-in-1 Lishi-Style picks that I've used, this is the one that needs the least amount of tension and pressure. And also, for the keyways that it's actually picking, you can see that the scale here is quite deep. And if we push that all the way down to the bottom there, you can see that this picking tip has come up quite a long way. The vast majority of the locks, including this ALS padlock, for example, when you're picking it, even the deepest set pin is probably going to set somewhere between a third and half of that scale. And if you try and press any further down, you are actually going to end up damaging this tool. So if we take this key, for example, just to show you, if I pop that in line with the blade there, and you put the picking tip in, you can see that if we push that all the way down, it's way above where it needs to be. And of course, something's going to bend. So let me pop it into this padlock, because it is really quite useful for picking these. These have normally have quite extreme bitting, and they've got spool pins in there. And as Gav said in his video, they're pretty good for that type of work. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check that all of the pin chambers line up, and they're absolutely perfect. They're spot on. So all 5 line up with the actual marks on this tool here. So I'm going to pick the tension up, and you can see obviously there's a spring tension built inside this padlock, so you have to overcome that. But then also you have to then be able to modulate that so that you can set the binding pins without bending that foil, or without applying too much pressure to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the tension, and let's just work through this. So usual Lishi method, you can see there that if it's bouncing, leave it alone. That's bouncing, that's bouncing. Okay, so pin 2 is bound, but to get the picking tip over the top of pin 2, I've had to take the pressure off just a little bit there. And now what we can do is we can set that. So I'm going to back the tension off, and you can see that that's moved literally 1 mark on this scale to set that pin. So 1 is springy, 2 is springy, 3 is springy, 4 now is blocking the picking tip. So let's just see if we can gently get underneath 4, and what I'm going to do is see if we can set that pin. I'm really backing that tension off. There we are, it's a click. And that's virtually coming all the way off, basically. 5 feels a little bound. Let's just take that open. Take the tension off a bit there. Let's go through again. So 1. You can see I'm testing everything by literally tapping it with the gentlest of turning force on here. 3. There's 4. I'm not sure 4 is actually set. Let me take that down to a fraction more. There we go. So incredibly gentle movement on there. Now 5, 4, 3, 2 are all bouncing, and that now you can see that the picking tip won't get underneath 1. So I'm going to back that tension off. Now it's dropped onto a spool pin, so we can take an awful lot of tension off that. And now if I was to just try and muscle that pin down and feel for counter rotation, I'm probably going to damage this tool. So what I'm going to do is just back that off manually, and keep backing it off until that's ready to set. I'm still backing that off, come back a long way, and there we go. So we've now set that, and the padlock has just opened. But it's an incredibly gentle touch, and also you have to develop a lot of feel for the tension when you're picking the pins. You have to literally back this off until the pins pick and then reapply the tension. So you can't muscle anything with this particular Lishi tool because you're going to end up breaking it. But if you're very, very gentle and sensitive with it, then as you can see, you can pick complicated padlocks, for want of a better description, with spool pins inside with relative ease.